I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
'19 GMC Sierra 1500.
Denali, the only word that actually matters.
Horsepower and torque.
420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. Big numbers from a 6.2 liter V8. America.
Okay, so what does Denali mean?
Before we get to that, I want you to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check out our Patreon page because you're probably wondering how there's so many comments from before you got this video.
Patreon and YouTube memberships get early access. That's about it.
Now, what is Denali? Denali is a sub-brand within GMC, sort of. GMC is owned by GM, so Chevy also has a Silverado, which is similar to this truck. Chevy is the lowest brand, then there's GMC, then there's Cadillac. Denali is a thing between GMC and Cadillac. So it's more luxurious than a Chevy, more luxurious than the regular GMC, but less luxurious than a Cadillac, and GMC focuses on trucks and commercial vehicles, and SUVs now.
Okay, because I remember as a kid, you'd see those big white old vans and you're like GMC, and I never thought GMC was cool, but now you're in a Denali, you're like, all right.
Yeah, Denali is the cool part of GMC.
And rappers like Denalis.
Exactly, and good old country boys like Denalis. So it's like, oh yeah.
Okay.
Everybody wants a Denali. You don't tell people you have a Sierra, you tell them you have a Denali.
Okay.
Now that we got that out of the way, this truck is fast, like damn fast. You floor it, it's gone. So much torque.
It's got a lot of power.
I love this engine. This drivetrain is fantastic. It's way faster than the Ram that we drove.
But I can't figure out how to get into any gear I want to be in.
Yeah, it does have this little shifter here, but you'll probably have to be in tow haul mode or something like that.
Couldn't get it to do anything. But what kind of transmission is it?
We got a 10-speed transmission, and it shifts like butter when you just leave it, let it do its thing. So we know it's fast, but this one can also do cylinder deactivation, so this one can actually run on 2 cylinders.
Didn't we ask the guy, and he said like it can run up to 1 theoretically in ideal conditions?
That's right.
So never.
Never.
But I did notice that like the RPMs drop a lot when you're going pretty chill on the highway. I was getting 10.9 liters per 100 kilometers, which is like Miata territory.
Yeah, that's really good. And for you Americans, here's that conversion in miles per gallon.
Also, liters per 100 kilometers makes way more sense than miles per gallon, because when I go somewhere, I think about like how far away it is, right? Like I know the ski hill is 100 kilometers away, so it will take 10.9 liters to get to the ski hill and 10.9 to get back.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I like Canada.
I'm just saying miles per gallon's weird and like I don't get it.
And since this is a truck, people probably care about towing capacity. 9,000 pounds up to 12,200, so don't try and tow anything more than 12,200 pounds.
Now let's get to the important stuff. This has a gimmicky tailgate.
Yes, it does.
And it competes with Ford's gimmicky tailgate. So let's get into this one. What does it do and why is it better than everything else?
You can use it as a seat, you can use it as a step.
And there's a handle to help you get up so you don't slip if you're old.
You can also use it to block some of your cargo if you lift the top part of it. And you can use it as a workbench. It's actually pretty cool.
Do you think it's better than the Ford F-150 one?
Yes.
Why?
I think it's just more functional. I don't like it more, but I think it's more functional than it.
There's more room to sit with your buddies.
Yes. Now back to drive modes quickly. There are several different drive modes, and it was actually kind of difficult to find them. You got to turn this knob over here that doesn't tell you what it does, and then you go to Tour, Sport, Off-Road, Tow and Haul. I like Sport. That's kind of what I want out of this truck.
Why do you want Sport? Like, why do you want to set at high RPMs? Like,
it doesn't do that.
Gas costs a lot of money.
It's just more sensitive on the throttle.
And when you're in Sport mode, you probably don't have as much cylinder deactivation because it knows you're in Sport mode. So it's awful. It's an awful idea. Gas is expensive.
No, I wouldn't use it on the highway.
Oh.
Exactly.
You're always doing this.
Yeah.
You need an auto mode.
Well, we do have an auto button to control if you're in 2-wheel drive high, 4-wheel drive low or high as well.
I like that because, you know, you're always in 2-wheel drive to save gas, but if it gets slippery, if it notices you're always slipping, I'm sure it's going to throw you into all-wheel drive and then boom!
Exactly, I agree. And I think the luxury line of trucks should have that kind of stuff because people are probably coming to buy these trucks that haven't owned trucks before. That's my theory.
Well, yeah, it is very luxurious in here, but the Ram is also very luxurious.
Yes, it is.
So far, I'm kind of a little bit more Team Ram.
I'm definitely Team Ram. We'll just spoil it right now.
Yeah, okay, spoiler alert, we're both Team Ram.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the interior now?
Let's talk about the looks first, the outside.
Okay, big black and lots of chrome.
Lots of chrome.
Like,
big grille, big old GMC, big old headlights. I don't really like it that much.
I like it. It matches the whole GM look, because like even like the new Escalades, everything's like just huge, square, boxy, and just like sleek.
I think the Ram looks way better.
I also think it looks better, but I think the look of this caters for certain people, and I think for those people, it's perfect.
Well, I agree. This is boxier, kind of manlier, kind of more old school.
Yeah.
but the Ram's like new school, and I kind of like that right now.
I like the big chrome grille.
It's massive. Oh, and this thing actually has chrome tow hooks.
We've got some pretty cool headlight outlines.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the front end.
And the taillight outlines look pretty cool too.
I agree.
I do think the Silverado looks a little cooler, especially that Trail Boss, but this looks cool as it is.
I think this looks way better than the Chevy overall. My favorite part are the wheels though. The wheels on this, they work perfectly. They're huge.
They are gigantic. To the point where I'm worried about parking. I'm like, is this rim gonna scratch or not?
Yeah, I know. But you probably won't because we got Super HD backup cameras, which we'll talk about when Yuri drives.
Okay, and now the tailgate. It says Denali stamped right on the back.
Denali everywhere.
It looks pretty cool, but like it's such a big Denali logo. And I really like the Denali logo. I think the font they use and everything is very nice.
Oh, and I really like the power running boards as well.
Power running boards are cool. We didn't talk about the chrome exhaust tips at the back.
Yeah, rectangles looks kind of cool.
It definitely looks cool, but you can see the exhaust pipe coming through. It doesn't even line up, but
that's most trucks these days, most cars these days.
And then we got that little thing to put our foot to get back into the tailgate. Overall, I think very good looking truck.
And now I'm gonna send it into cliche corners, see how this thing handles. Honestly, this thing is so comfortable to drive. Like, it absorbs every pothole. It's so comfortable. It's really quiet in here as well. Suspension's well damped. Like, feels like a truck, but it feels like a comfortable truck.
And if you're trying to mess around in the snow, traction off, it's very fun in two-wheel drive mode.
Oh, of course it is, like all trucks.
One click of a button and boom!
And now that we got all the looks and everything out of the way, let's talk about this interior. You drive.
So it's brown in here.
Yes, it is. I don't like this shade of brown.
Yeah, it's just like that Mazda CX-5 that didn't have a brown enough color brown.
Exactly.
But it is nice in here. It's very comfortable. The seats are great.
Yeah, the seats are comfortable. They're very good. I just don't like how they look with the black and brown contrast stuff.
I do like this brown exposed looking wood we have.
Yeah, it does look kind of cool. It's like this like firewood kind of stuff.
And then this brushed metal material alongside with it. I think it all matches very well.
That looks cool as well. The dash is all soft touch. Like, there's not too much cheap stuff other than the center console, which is kind of where you want your cheap stuff to be.
Yeah, and then you've got a double glove box, which is cool for holding lots of stuff. But don't you feel like they should have put more wood there?
Yes.
Like that would have made it a little bit more Denali.
This upper glove box should have been in all wood, or this brushed metal color. That would be cool too.
Okay, and then let's get into our infotainment. We've got a little screen up here. It's not bad. It's got a lot of good stuff. It's their new infotainment.
And the resolution is quite good.
So remember when we drove the Chevy Cruze? We said those graphics looked pretty 2007, like they looked old, but you knew exactly what button did what, right?
Yes.
This one, it looks better, but I have a harder time knowing which button is which because it's just not as clear as that old one was.
I know what you mean, but I don't mind it at all.
So we do have Apple CarPlay, we have Android Auto.
Thank you!
We don't have rewinding satellite radio stations, which leads me to believe that this is the exact same quality as Sync 3.
Oh, as an overall infotainment?
Yes.
Okay. I think this is better because overall the screen resolution is sharper and everything just seems to work quite well.
Now I got a counterpoint to that. When I'm running my Apple CarPlay, you get such ugly black banding when you're in your Siri mode that it looks like so bad for an expensive car.
I noticed the Android Auto looked a little bit washed out compared to everything else as well.
Like, come on, guys. One of the things I didn't like about controlling satellite radio in here, so say we go to our audio, say you want to tune some stations, how would you tune it regularly in a normal car?
Left and right. Or I'd use the tuning knob.
Use the tuning knob.
Okay.
Okay, what was that? Why did it change screens?
Yeah, I don't know why it does that.
So, these are actually your tuning knobs for seeking. This is like a scroll wheel. When you're in your Apple CarPlay, I can use this and it'll go through all of my settings.
So you're saying we have 3 different ways to tune?
To tune and scroll and seek. It's very weird.
That's great. I love it.
I want my tuning knob to be a regular tuning knob. I don't think you should mess with that.
I think taking over your entire screen and showing that is a little weird, but I think it works.
But we do have a home button and a back button, but I think like most cars, we are lacking a bunch of hard buttons on the side to get everywhere.
But what did they fix from Ford? You can direct all of your air with hard buttons.
Yeah, that's very good. And you've got your heated seats, your ventilated seats, hard buttons as well. And you can just do a heated back instead of a heated bottom as well.
Yeah, it's cool to actually customize that.
Then we also have a heated steering wheel, which is located on the steering wheel, which is amazing.
Yeah, it works really well too.
You want to talk about the steering wheel for a second?
Go for it.
Brown, nice and comfortable. It says Denali in the middle.
Not GMC, because you're driving a Denali. You don't tell people you drive a GMC Sierra. You tell them you drive a Denali.
We do have buttons on the steering wheel to control the screen in the gauges, but what I found is weird. You scroll this to go up and down, but then you click this to go left and right.
And you can't click the up and down.
I catch myself clicking the up and down all the time.
So did I.
Then we have our volume control on the back of the steering wheel on the right, and we have our favorite control on the back of the steering wheel on the left. So in our recent pilot video, I was saying how I want a tuning knob so I can go through my channels. And people are like, why don't you just use the steering wheel controls? Because the steering wheel controls don't seek through channels, they only seek through your favorites. The only car company that does that you can go through seeking on the steering wheel is Dodge and Ram.
There you go.
Get your facts straight, people.
And moving into the gauges, I think the fonts and the way the gauges look is straight out of like a Grand Prix from like 1998.
Yeah, they didn't upgrade the fonts too much. I think it's okay, but not the best.
I think the center gauge is great, but the analog ones, they just look old. Now most cars, trucks, and SUVs these days have adaptive cruise and lane keep assist. This one does not. This one has something called following distance indicator. So basically, it has all of the sensors to be able to tell you how far the car in front of you is without being able to actually do adaptive cruise. It is such a pain. It makes you think that it's all working. It'll even tell you how many seconds away from the car in front of you that you are, but it doesn't have adaptive cruise. You know what you can also do? Set the distance from the car in front of you.
For warnings?
Yeah!
It is weird. I got in, I thought it was broken.
Exactly, so did I.
But maybe like they can't add that because if you're towing stuff, then everything's gonna get confusing.
That's
and
a terrible excuse.
Break a little bit late.
Terrible excuse.
Okay, so it does have a lane keep assist. It like barely works, like just barely, slightly on the highway will it sometimes pull me back in.
Yeah, I don't like any of those systems at all in this truck.
It tricked me.
Yeah, makes you think you have it, but you don't.
What I do like though is that we do have a big head-up display and you can get those fake features shown on the head-up display, which is very nice. But what you can also get on the head-up display is all your off-road settings. So you can see if you're an all-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, your angle and everything. My favorite part about that is when you slip, it'll show you which wheels are slipping. They'll turn orange and you can actually see it while driving instead of looking down at your gauges.
That is super cool.
Like in the Raptor gauges, you know, you're never really gonna look down when you're doing cool stuff in a Raptor because you're always looking forward.
I would look down.
Come on.
Let's talk about the rest of this interior. Legroom is fantastic in the front and in the back. No issues there. We got a nice big old console here. We got an area for your phone. We got an area for your cup holders. Small cup of coffee. Let's see if that passes. That just barely passes.
Okay, so on Instagram, follow us, TheStraightPipes Yuri. People voted mostly fail. The reason the cup holder test exists was because in the Honda Ridgeline, it popped the lid off when I put my cup in there. Same with that Volvo V90.
So that's why this is a pass.
If I can get my hands in there and pull it out, it's a pass. As long as it's not popping off the lid, that's considered a pass.
And let's do the visor test next.
What do you think?
I think it's gonna be a pass.
3, 2, 1.
Yes!
Ah!
Yes! Full pass!
This is actually a very lightweight visor.
It is.
And you know what else this has, which is very cool?
What's that?
USB and USB-C in the front and in the back.
Yeah, it does. And it also has a wireless charger. Now that's great, but the area that you put your phone in for the wireless charger, in the winter, it is freezing cold. So I only assume that in the summer that is hot.
Yeah, it's cold to the point where if I take my iPhone out of here and bring it outside, it'll probably die within a minute. Because, you know, iPhones aren't designed for Canada weather.
iPhones are garbage.
No, they're not.
Some other crazy features in here. If you flip this, you got a camera in here.
And what I really like about that is the back camera has like a neutral density filter, so it's black at the top, so you don't get overexposed from the sun.
That is super cool.
And then you've got your normal reverse camera next to it. We'll get to that in a bit. What this doesn't have that the Ram Rebel did have was a grocery bag hanger in the back seat when you fold it up.
This isn't for people with groceries. This is for people that are professionals.
But I'm sure you could still put your groceries in that little slot there, but the Ram Rebel had that. But this also has those cool compartments in the back seats for hiding stuff.
Yeah, it does.
So before we end off the review, I want to get into my little reverse camera rant.
Go for it.
How do you think we get into the camera?
You just put it in reverse.
But what if you want to have the camera going forward?
I have no idea.
Home button, slide, camera.
Ridiculous.
Then we've got some of the funniest animations ever. First of all, it is pretty HD.
It's super HD.
It's very clear.
I said holy crap when I started this.
We have a 360 camera and a forward camera and a reverse camera at the same time, which is nice. My favorite part is really bad augmented reality.
It is terrible.
It's like they tried to copy the BMW, but like failed miserably. Like this does not add up at all. And look at these lines.
So if I'm standing outside like that, that is what I look like in here, right? I look exactly like that projected onto here.
It's like they could have just had the guy go outside, take a picture with a camera with the same angle and be like, oh no, we need to change the way the car looks.
They tried.
They didn't try hard enough.
Exactly.
Then we also have a cool camera that shows our tires when we're parking, so we can see our rear tires and our front tires. But what's weird is that it doesn't show the reverse camera at the same time. So while I'm like getting close to something, I don't know if I'm gonna hit something or not. But luckily, when I get close to stuff, not only does it beep, my seat vibrates.
I noticed that as well.
That was the coolest thing. A vibrating seat was like the best warning, especially like if you don't want to turn around or whatever.
Yeah, at first I thought I let one go, but it was just the seat.
So now let's get to the price.
This starts at $67,900. This one is optioned out to $79,240.
Canadian.
And apparently they are going to make a carbon fiber box option soon. So you know how everybody was making fun of Ford for the aluminum stuff and dropping things and smashing tailgates and all that?
Yeah.
Apparently this is going to be carbon fiber, so I feel like the repair costs are going to be much higher.
Yeah, but people who order carbon fiber are probably not going to like put anything in the back.
Probably not, but that's the thing. They're going to make it available, which is kind of cool.
And every time it gets crashed, it's going to be written off.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's compare this to some competition.
Obviously the Ford F-150 and the Ram 1500 that we've driven.
What's your favorite?
I think I really like the Ram 1500.
I'm more of a fan of the Ram. I like the infotainment more. It's got the Roni satellite radios.
I think it drove better. I just really like how it looked.
I like the look. It had more cool compartments for phones and stuff like that. But I think overall, Ram's got more stuff that works better for me.
Yeah,
But it doesn't have the tailgate.
No, it doesn't.
So this kind of wins against Ford.
I guess.
Man, I don't know. Let us know below. Are you a truck guy? Which truck is the best truck in this category?
I can't wait to get my Ford Raptor. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you get notified of our videos every Tuesday and Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time.
Visit patreon.com/TheStraightPipes to get early access to videos. You can also get that from our YouTube membership and check out our t-shirts on Teespring.
Do it all of it.
I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive. Subscription break. Don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe right now. Subscribe. We didn't do that.